What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. No, you're not seeing things. This is the same La Marzocco Linea Mini that we recently completed a major service on. And this time we're doing some upgrades because, well, it's missing what I believe is needed to create the perfect espresso. So once the customer had picked up the machine after receiving its service, we were discussing a few things, options for the future, whether it be a new machine or more upgrades on this, as myself and the customer want this machine to be as good as possible, or at least his espresso experience to be as good as possible. Now, I've made it no secret that I believe the La Marzocco Linea is, well, lacking a few crucial creature comforts that I would like to see in a modern machine. Yes, this machine is an earlier generation, but it needs to do a little bit more. And the first thing that I believe it needs is to make this little paddle do something other than pull a shot. So I got hunting through the internet. I found a company in Germany that supplies a pretty elaborate little setup of parts and wiring and micro switches to create pre-infusion. That's right, we're doing what is called the Slayer mod, as most people are calling it, so that when you pull this lever halfway, you'll get a 3-bar pre-infusion, and then you can extract the shot, essentially doing what a machine of this caliber should do, in my opinion. So I'm going to get to work installing these parts. They believe it takes about 3 hours, which means someone as fussy as I am is probably going to take closer to 5, but that's okay, because we want it to be perfect. Let's make La Marzocco great again.
A few moments later.
So the needle valve installation is complete. We're just testing for leaks and all those bits and pieces. Still a bit of adjusting to do. We will be finalizing all of the adjustments once we get to the client's house, getting it all set up, making sure it's perfect for his setup. But I'm going to give you guys a quick rundown before I cover this guy up on exactly how this thing works. So for anyone that has seen inside one of these machines before, you'd notice that there's a couple of differences happening. There are quite a few components. This is actually the valve here, which is the adjustment. We've opted for the version that actually has the correct pressure being displayed on the machine while the pre-infusion and extraction is happening. Otherwise, it's just going to show 9 bar the whole time. Makes it a little bit difficult to dial these things in. It's also nice to know exactly what it's actually pulling, but I'll explain all of that in a moment. We've got a new solenoid down the bottom there. So we've actually moved this solenoid from here. There's a lot of things are moved. I'm not going to go too crazy into details there because I don't really want someone stealing this person's patent. Now, this little micro switch here is a part of the kit which activates when you push the lever. So if you listen closely, that's the first click and then the second click. So this one is now controlling the pre-infusion. This guy's controlling the main extraction. This line running from the back of the gauge typically runs straight up the top of the machine onto this little guy here, which obviously we have blocked off. That's a part of the kit. And that line runs up into this cross piece instead. So it's reading the true pressure that is going into the machine at the time of extraction. Obviously a little bit of wiring involved in this. You can see the grey, blue wiring is all part of this kit. Obviously because we're now running a second solenoid, you can kind of see down there, so second solenoid. Obviously because we need one for the 3-bar or your pre-infusion extraction and then your 9-bar extraction or whatever the pump is set at. And I will admit a wiring harness that is made specifically for this machine, it's probably not the neatest way I could have seen it done, but I feel like this is as good as I could do with it. There's quite a few wires that may be a little bit too long, a couple that are maybe a little bit too short, but it definitely works. It's perfectly fine. This is all covered anyway. You could definitely do this Anita way if you ran all new wiring, but we don't need to do that. It works perfectly fine. So it is a fairly complex little setup. There is a lot more to it than I've shown you guys, but like I said, I don't really want to be telling this guy's complete design on the internet. We paid some good money for this kit and it is worth the money. It is from a company called Graphicus Coffee Tech. I think that's how you pronounce it, but I've put a link below to his Instagram anyway if you want to check it out. This is the first one I have seen. I don't know of many people that have gone this far with one of these, but it's a great little kit. Check him out if you're interested. And obviously I can do installs if need be, because it's pretty complex. It's definitely not for an amateur. Now, while we're talking about companies, I want to give the person that owns this machine a quick little shout out because he trusts me with his beautiful little machine. He's actually from a company called Jerusalem Keratin. I'm going to pop a link to his website or Instagram as well. This is actually a beard oil that he's sent my way, and it's bloody good beard oil. I've used quite a few and it's up there with the best. And another bunch of guys I want to say thank you to is the Spro Bros. Just a good bunch of blokes spreading the word about coffee. Make sure you check them out on Instagram as well, because they're a big part as to, you know, why coffee is getting better, and we need more people like that in the industry. Now, if this video has been entertaining, educational, or just weird like most of my videos, make sure you give it a like, hit the subscribe button, because we've got plenty more of this sort of content coming, as well as all the other normal weird things we do. So that's all for now, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Have yourselves a great day and happy brewing.